It may feel like it's years too late, and it may be a cold day in hell, but Tellarknights support has actually arrived, and we're here to talk about it. So let's talk about it. Let's go. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Looks like Tellarknights is where we are. Welcome back to the page, guys. The captain speaking. I appreciate you guys for tuning back in. A lot of what I'm going to try to show off in this deck profile is just ideas. There's so many ideas that you can take with this deck, but I definitely have to start off by saying the deck has 100% shifted from the trap-heavy deck where you try to rely on Call the Haunted and Oasis of Dragon Souls and so many other trap cards and try to play the trap resource game. Now you're basically playing a mid-range game, and with that being said, and a little bit of the list just to show off, is definitely not clean all the way. I don't think Pollux will be necessary, but I will show why it is possible and maybe something that you want to consider. I definitely think that there's a few cards that you could put in this slot, whether it be Renaud and Living Fossil. Living Fossil I like because it's a free extender and an extra monster reborn essentially. And you can also try out Heroic Challenger Knuckle Sword. With that out of the way, with a little bit of the Utopia stuff, to mention that if you want to play the deck right now, I feel like this is the best way to play it right now, as well as some additional cards. As you will be playing a Soul Day, you may want to look at some additional equip spells that may help you out in a pinch. And then obviously cards you may have forgotten about, like XYZ Change Tactics. As far as the new cards, Altea is a card that basically spams herself out of the graveyard, and then it is a bomb pretty much to be able to blow your opponent's board out. Additionally, you have a card like Lyra to be able to add Tellarknight spells. Very interesting, and she can add both. That's very, very cool. And then last but not least, I wanted to talk about the new Exceeds. There's one, Starring Night. I cannot find any literature on when this card is coming out, so forgive me for that. Let me know down in the comments if you actually see it. I looked for it on Reddit and couldn't find it anywhere. But bottom line, this card is really cool. Won't be featured in any combo like that, but you can detach a material from this card and special summon one light monster from your hand. That's just a card that you're going to have to find and have on hand when it's time to have it on hand. Gaga Magician is a really cool card as well because you want to revive Deltros a couple extra times, and it definitely is the best way to do that. But additionally, you could play the rank 1 that I'll show in the combo as well. But Tellarknight Constellar Caduceus is the insane card in this deck that actually pretty much turns the deck into a mid-range deck. In my opinion, this is kind of Galatea-ish, where basically it can take 2 monsters that are level 4 or 2+, just depending on what you want to do, which we can start off by showing. But if this card is XYZ summon, you get to target a Tellarknight card and or Constellar card in your graveyard and add them to your hand. And then obviously you can banish one Tellar or Constellar monster from your hand or deck, then detach one material, and it copies its effect upon normal. So it's like Decatron, except even better because it can copy anything that the card does. That is an insanely powerful card. With that being said, and a lot of the additional stuff being mentioned, let's get into the combos. I wanted to first start off by showing that yes, very easily, I feel like it's most of the time when you're going to go second is when you can actually land this. I don't foresee any, well, I'll have to spend more time. Just give me more time. I'm pretty sure I could figure it out. But anytime that you have 5 warriors, just like with Cashteer, anytime you get up to about 4 to 6 level 7 ways to get level 7s on the field, you get to pop off with this. You get to summon as many level 4s as you want. This is 5 under Caduceus. Obviously, if you've already kind of fought through your turn, or you've started off your plays to get you to that point to getting 5 Tellarknights on the board, adding back to Tellarknight Skybridge is always a good thing. And then additionally, with its additional effect, Caduceus gets to then banish Altea. From there, you get to either pop something or you get to, whether you get to summon baggage, regardless of whatever you want to do, being able to get into the next card. I feel like most of the time you're going to want to, like, if this is main phase 2, let's just say main phase 2, and you've summoned this, or you're about to go into battle phase and you need to clear the board. You used Altea, which is again the card that if up to the number of light or darks that you have, you get to pop. You've cleared the board, you've punched over stuff, you make diamond. From there you would then make M7, and then after M7, because of this effect, you then get to rank up additionally one last time, and there, my friends, is where you could get to skip someone's turn. Again, it's not the cleanest. I've found that the most of the time in my testing when I've been messing around with this deck so far, and I can put that in some additional videos if you guys want to see those, just let me know. But seriously, guys, I do feel like most of the time fighting through somebody's board, this can actually resolve a high percentage of the time. Not necessarily going to be the go-to strategy to end the game, but it will be in your repertoire, and I feel like it's worth having in your extra deck to just, man, it's really, really cool. And it's actually not that hard to set up, which is why I like it. As far as featuring the new cards, Lyra is the card that adds a spell. Obviously, I wanted to show off all of the spells in your hand and then show like, hey, if you open one, if you open the other, regardless, you're going to want to plus and grab some spells. So in this case, because you normal summon the Teller, you normal summon the Neb, you're out in Unocal High, and then you're adding the spell. In this case, either one that you want to pick. For this specific scenario, we're going to actually be showing off Skybridge. Activate Skybridge to then get rid of the Lyra that's on the field and then summon out either a Vega or any other card inside of the deck that you would want to try. Obviously, you saw before, like Procyon and Prosperity would be in conflict. You could play, like, you don't have to play Procyon, you could play Prosperity, you could play Upstart in case you just don't want the conflict of drawing cards and this card can dump a card into the grave. Like, it's all stuff that you're going to have to manipulate and mess around for yourself. So there's no correct way of telling you that, but Prosperity is Prosperity, so it is what it is with that. For this specific combo, I'm just showing off Vega, just because, hey, Vega, special summon out of your hand at any time. Unocal High is going to end up dumping the new card, Altea, which again is a bomb inside of the graveyard, or just a pullback or an extra extender inside of the graveyard, which is good for Unocal High because it definitely gives the deck the speed boost that it needs. For Caduceus, in this specific scenario, the grind game, you maybe want to consider more Altea, but for this lineup and for me, it's just showing off what we're doing. Maybe you're thinking about Bestials, you probably want to bump the number up, guys. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. Caduceus is going to end up adding back the Skybridge because that's what it does on summon, and the additional effect is it gets to banish something and then copy its effect that it usually gets on summon, and then from there you would add the Tellarknight Constellar. So again, adding spells and beating your opponent over the head with them is basically what this deck can do now, where it's not trying to rely on traps the same way that it did. As far as extending a little bit farther, you're going to special summon, in this case, Tellarknight Constellar is going to summon Deneb, and then from there you're going to overlay, usually into Ptolemaeus, and most of the time, guys, this is just about what your inboards are going to look like. You're going to get to kick back all the cards in your hand, set a Skybridge, attach a diamond under your a Trivair or a Deltaros under your Ptolemaeus, and then summon a diamond, summon a Drindle, summon, whatever the case calls for, Infinity, whatever your preference is in that specific scenario. That's pretty much going to be the setup, and then having a Skybridge as an additional kind of pseudo interruption is just rather interesting as well. As far as additional combos, again, guys, this is just another example of two tellers, basically. Normal summoning Unocal High and then special summoning Lyra. Again, anytime something is normal summon. Thinking for a little bit here. From here, you would want to then dump the Altea as fast as possible. I feel like it's the best card to target for Unocal High now. And then from there, in this specific combo, not adding the other Tellarknight revival spell, but adding Skybridge in this case again. And then from here, activating Skybridge, putting Lina back in the deck, Lyra back in the deck, pardon me, and then summoning out Deneb. Then when she's triggered, Altea gets to trigger in the graveyard, and then Deneb is going to allow you to add an Altair. Additionally, from here, you're going to overlay into Caduceus. Again, this is the wheels to everything. It's a lot like summoning Galatea. So again, guys, it's turned from a control deck to a mid-range deck. But continuing on to my point, from there, you're then banishing, again, the Lyra, and then you're getting to copy the effect. These stack a lot like the Dark Lord effects, and you're not like locked in. So like if you use one, you don't have to worry about this not being able to use it, which makes this really, really powerful. Really powerful, seriously. Activating Tellarknight Constellar, you're going to be able to additionally, and then after that, you either or, this is kind of an interesting talking point right here. Depending on what you've already went through, you may want to revive back, but if you've used one of these cards, then usually you're going to want to use the one that summons out of the hand. In this scenario, I'm summoning the Altair out of my hand, but some scenarios may require you to pick the card in your graveyard. I hope that's as clear as possible in this scenario. Special summoning the Altair that was just added out of your deck by Deneb, and then pulling back the Deneb that you just use to search the Altair, you can see where this deck is starting to be able to extend very freely and very quickly, and it's a lot faster than it used to be. From there, overlaying into Tellarknights, I feel like most of the time your inboards are going to pretty much want to look like this. You may still have to respect Bestial, so you may want to protect certain cards from being in the grave. When you summon Diamond, you will be able to summon Diamond right here, and then Altair can bring itself back. That's something you have to be careful if you're playing against the deck, because then this can additionally set up to be a pop and an interruption with a Diamond that they can't deal with like that. That starts to get silly, guys. And this is where I'm saying, again, that's kind of Orcus Babblish. Again, this is very mid-rangey, how quick all of this can turn. I'll get into what I mean. Before we do get into that, I just have to show off the Constellars, obviously. And this will be a little bit quicker because this is me more experimenting with a combo. But guys, pretty much adding Caduceus to then get to Twinkle, to then overlay into Caduceus, allows you to change the Sheraton into a 4, and then from there you're getting to loop Constellar Twinkle over and over and over and over again. And don't worry about how fast I'm doing this combo, because I'm literally about to show a much slower, cleaner version. But I did want to slow it down when we get to the point of talking about what you're actually summoning off the Isolde, which is here, which is the Heroic Challenger Knuckle Sword. I feel like Knuckle Sword is cool because of what it can provide. As far as I feel like Ray Notice is a better card, but this card is definitely interesting because it gets to change things, monsters on the field, into level 1s, and that could allow you to play a card like Heroic Champion, which is really, really cool because it's basically the same thing as Gaga Magician. So it's really going to be up to you, but I feel like Gaga Magician is probably easier than this. However, this has additional stuff like being able to gain attack and little stuff like that, and then gaining life points when an attack is declared. You know, like this is where I'm saying, like, you don't know how the meta will shape up. This is a time card, but if you're that worried about a time card and it's rank 4s, just play Cowboy. Anyways, continuing on with this, kind of rounding out what that combo would pretty much look like. It's just like Gaga Magician to pull those back. Then you make Appaloosa with that. Deltaros would then float even more. Then you go into Vegan, and it's like you just gonna never stop extending. And you see how many rank 4 level 4s are on the board and how many plays you can continue to make, whether that's additionally changing some levels, manipulating some levels to have Pallades on the field. And then in this kind of scenario, as long as you have an ability to have a main phase 2 or a way to have a Tellarknight or Constellar. I'm sorry, I get tongue-tied with all of that because Stellar, Constellar. As long as you can rank up in some kind of way into a diamond, I think you're sitting pretty against whatever the meta is going to be in the future. Slowing it down a little bit, just showing off what Sheraton can do by herself or himself. I'm not assuming gender, pardon me. But Caduceus is the normal add-on target that you're going to have. Special summoning Caduceus, I wanted to show the slowed down version. Then you would add Constellar Twinkle. Twinkle is a really, really cool card. It allows you to change levels. That turns Sheraton into a level 4. And then from there, you're getting to make Caduceus. See how often that you make Caduceus? This is why this card is very, very popular and very, very powerful already, because it's going to blow the roof off of what the deck can do. From here, you're getting to add back Constellar Twinkle because that's what Caduceus can do. And then from there, you're banishing the liner to then be able to add the Tellarknight Constellar. So you see how quickly the speed change has definitely increased from what the deck used to be to what it is now. And this specific combo, I wanted to show off overlaying for M7 first. And then from there, activating Tellarknight Constellar as a reverse way to kind of do what I was doing a little bit earlier, to then make Deltaros after that, because you're kind of ranking down. This is a rank up or a rank down card. So think of it like that. As far as continuing on, Deltaros pop himself to float out of the deck. Altair then will float out on the field and pull the Deltaros back. And then Deltaros, remember, if you have forgotten, it is not once a turn. So then you would link off into a Isolde, kind of like we did in that combo that we just showed. Deltaros will again trigger. Obviously, you get to add a Altair for follow-up on the following turn. The Deltaros will then summon the Deneb out of the deck. And then from there, you're getting to add Unokalhai. In my opinion, that's going to be probably your initial card that you're going to want to summon next. But from there, in my opinion, you would go a Solde with Reynard, and I actually ended up goofing off here because I meant to make Gaga Magician right here. I think you make it here. This is where I was saying, you know, you bottom line, you're getting Tapaloosa, but I was like, wait, what am I doing? Because I skipped a step. So right here, you just turn these two, which is basically that rank 1 that I just showed in this card, are the exact same thing. They're both going to pull back Deltaros. That's all that you're using them for. Pulling the Deltaros back, you then make the Appaloosa. The Deltaros will float again. The Appaloosa will be protecting that. The Vega will summon out Altair, or I mean not Altair because you can't use that one this turn, but it will summon out Una Kalhai. And then from there, you're continuing your plays, and you see how this deck speed difference has definitely changed. I hope I'm making that very, very clear. I feel like all of your boards aren't going to be the most insane thing you've ever seen. You may want to try out like VSAS or something crazy like that in this deck and make flying barons out of thin air like that. It's really going to be up to you what in the world that you want to try. There's definitely like level 6 warriors that you could try. There's a lot to experiment with this deck. But the bottom line of it is, guys, being able to end on a Pallades next to a Ptolemaeus with some kind of setup for what the following turn is going to do is always going to be a very powerful choice in what you're going to be able to do, as long as you can set it up correctly. Again, guys, I have to mention this again. Altea as well as Diamond is an interruption out of this world if you can get that to pop off. Drindle may be a thing if searching is a high level thing, and then you can open Droll like that. That's also going to be a thing. But in this last combo, and always ending on Ptolemaeus is pretty much what I would recommend. Is these two are always going to be on your board, and there should be an additional rank 5 of some sort at minimum. With Pollux being the last, I just wanted to show the only reason that you would even consider Constellar Pollux is because you basically get to end on 2 rank 5s, and I'll show why. Normal summoning Pollux allows you to then normal summon again, which is going to allow you to normal summon the Sheraton that we saw in the last combo. Then you're going to add Caduceus. From there, you're going to special summon Caduceus and then add, let's guess it, Constellar Twinkle. Constellar Twinkle then is going to activate to target the Sheraton, but you're not going to use it quite yet because you're going to be doing some kind of cool, funny plays with it. Getting into Caduceus again and then adding back the Twinkle that you just used because that's what Caduceus does. Then banishing the Lyra, and then detaching allows you to add Tellarknight Constellar. From there, you're activating to pull the Pollux back onto the field. Then you have 2 level 4s. Again, activating Twinkle to then turn this into a 5. Now you're like, Greg, what the hell are you doing? Well, I got it. From there, you're using the rank up version of the card to then rank up into Pallades. And then from there, you're bouncing back the spell card. Then from there, you're banishing the Constellar card that you just detached. And that's why you did it in that order, to then put Twinkle back into your hand. And then from there, you're activating Twinkle again to then have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then adding 1 to Pollux to make it 5. That's how you can get very smoothly to 2 rank 5s on the board. Guys, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is very in-depth. I talk a lot because I had to, and I hope this has helped you in some kind of way. Let me know what you think about this deck. Where is it going to fall? Is it the meta of tomorrow? Well, I don't know, but let's talk about it. Appreciate you for tuning in. Pegasus out. Arrivederci.